Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the book Refuge. And it is time to kick it into high gear and get ready for some Bridgerton season 2 content. So I've been getting a lot of requests. People want me to react to any of the trailers for Bridgerton season 2, which I did react to 1 or 2 trailers for season 1. And, you know, if you watched my reviews of the season, which had a lot of great conversation, they're some of my most viewed videos ever. Like, I absolutely am planning to do in-depth breakdowns of every episode for season 2. I'm literally planning to devote the entire weekend to doing that, and then the videos will come out through the next like week or two. But of course there's a plane going over right now. But the part of it is that I was at work both times the trailers have dropped, and I watched them right away. And then I didn't really have enough like specific things to make a video in regards to just what was in the trailers. I don't think there was like enough for me to comment on that. I mean, no, there was a lot to comment about. I just meant to like, I don't really show like film in scenes anyway. That's not the kind of channel that I am. It's just me and my phone. We keep it real low key. But what I did want to do, and I'll kind of discuss based on things that I saw like in the trailer, like if I think these are likely to happen or not, is based on the title. Okay, I'm talking way too long, but based on the title, you already know that I'm going to go over scenes from the book, The Viscount Who Loved Me, that I absolutely want to see in season 2. Okay, things that I think will be detrimental to the story if they don't have in there, or just ones that I am like deeply into. The Viscount Who Loved Me, like a lot of fans of the series, this book is like top tier. If not people's favorite, it's very close. For me, it's tied with book 4. Romancing Mr. Bridgerton will just always have a special place in my heart because Penelope she is deep-seated in my heart, and she always will be. But this book, if not tying it, comes a real close for me. I'll just quick show you. I have one of the I have hardbacks of all of the Bridgerton books. So I absolutely love this one. So let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to try to keep this video short, keep it good to go, but I want to go over 5 scenes that I want to see in the show, and then kind of the likelihood that I think it's going to be in there. They're also, you know, I have a little bit of hint to this because the names of the episodes were actually just released as well. So that kind of gives us a little bit of a clue if we think it's going to be in there. But let's go over 5 scenes or things that I want to see. So these are really not in any particular order, but I do have 5 of them, and so I'm going to number them, but they're not really in like an order just because they're numbered. So the first thing, I really want there to be Kate has night terrors. She has had nightmares since she was a child because of something happened to her mother. So the thing is that we're not completely sure about is Kate's relationship with the mother that she has in this series. And again, some of you in the comments, like, you might know more specifically, but I don't know for sure that this mother that they're showing is actually her like stepmother, or if she's going to just be the mother of both of them, of both Kate and Edwina, because I mean, they definitely are having them all look alike. That doesn't mean anything, but in the books, Kate is the daughter of, you know, her mother had died, and then Kate's stepmother married her father, and she's a wonderful stepmother to her. She treats her just like her mother, and they have a deep, loving relationship. And I just think that stepmothers are often portrayed in a bad light in TV and movies, and that's not always the case. There are many beautiful stepmothers and stepfathers out there that are amazing. So, but anyway, point being, Kate has these night terrors from the night that her mother died, and they come up a few different times in the story, and I would really love to see them. They are a great bonding moment between Kate and Anthony at a certain point in the story, and I really love what that does, because there is a very big, like, there is a common ground between Kate and Anthony wherein they both lost a parent. Now for Kate, she was so little when it happened that she doesn't really remember her mother. She just remembers that feeling of loss and of losing her. where Anthony was a grown man. He was 18, but in some ways he was still a child because he had a very loving father, a loving parent, and so he didn't have to, he wasn't beaten the crap out of by his dad, like Simon was. So anyway, I would really like for Kate to have nightmares. And by likelihood, I think we will have some dream sequences. There's specifically in the trailers this one part where it seems like it's a dream, but it doesn't seem like it's a nightmare about losing her mother. So maybe I will half get what I want, half not. The other thing is, of course, the bee sting scene. Most people will know what this means if you've read the books without me having to go any further into it. This, I can't imagine them not doing this, because if they didn't do this, that wouldn't be great. There is an episode that's called A Bee in Your Bonnet, but that could also reference like other bee symbolism in the story, because we already know even from season 1 that they're using bees as like a symbolism in a lot of way. I already had a lot to say about that in my reviews of season 1, where I thought it was odd that the cause of Anthony's father's death, of Edmund Bridgerton's death, be used as like a talisman and as a decoration was just very like crude to me. But I also see that like if they're using a bee as like it's Edmund watching over them, I don't know what we're doing that, but like I know at the end of season 1 the bee was kind of used as a symbolism of like we're going to tell the next story and we know what the bee means, but it also stands for B for Bridgerton too. But the bee sting is a scene where it forces Kate and Anthony into a marriage of convenience instead of when he was pursuing her sister, because she gets stung by a bee and that causes a very traumatic reaction for Anthony, and that scene just has to be there. Like, it is one of the like oddly sad scene because of the trauma it's putting Anthony through, / one of the funniest scenes I've ever read in a book. Like, I freaking cackle when it happens. Like, I freaking cackle. So yeah, that's the thing. Next, there needs to be the teapot that needs to be drunk. Again, if you read the book, you know what I mean. This is a scene that is absolutely ridiculous. Like, it's a totally ridiculous scene. But this is a scene after Kate and Anthony are married and they're still in their honeymoon period, and Anthony is just looking for any excuse he can get to get his hands on his woman. And there's a scene where they are having afternoon tea, and so the tea is on the table in between them, and Anthony really wants to be dramatic and kind of like, very sexy and like throw the tea off the coffee table and like dive on her, but he doesn't want to spill the tea because it could be hot and he doesn't want to stain the carpet, and so he drinks an excessive amount of tea so that he can empty the pot so that he can then throw the pot aside to jump on her. And I would just love that to be a scene, because it might be interesting to do it of like how they would show what's like happening, because that is a scene that is a lot in his head, like the logic of him walking through like, I need to drink all this tea so that I can get the tea, so that I can push the teapot aside. Like, I don't know how they'll do that since we don't have voiceovers in this series. It might just seem like really weird, him like trying to guzzle the hot tea to do that, but I don't know. This is my wish list, and that is a scene that I want to see. So there we go. The heart-to-heart with Violet. So this I want to happen for 2 reasons. Number 1, I just love how in pretty much every Bridgerton book we get to have a really good scene between Violet and whichever child this is. I think she's a great mother. I feel that season 1 of the show didn't do Violet any favors. She is a woman who, yes, wants her children married off like any mama does, but she fully wants her children to love each person they're going to be with, and wants it to be a successful marriage, like the marriage she had that, bore all these beautiful children. And we have seen Anthony be sharp with her in season 1, and we've seen her be a little bit manipulative and like rude in some aspects. I don't know. It's just not how I picture Violet, but I do think that there's a chance for redemption with this. And again, in the trailer, I have seen, there's some scenes of them talking to each other, of course, but I would really like there to be a heart-to-heart between them talking about Edmund and what Edmund, you know, what he wanted for his son. I would really like to see how that is played out, right? I'd like to see that. And I would just like some redemption to that relationship, because a lot of the reason too why I saw Anthony as such a prick in the first season is in how he spoke to both Daphne and Violet at different times. It wasn't great. And I know that there's going to be a great redemption arc for him. Like, I fully believe it. The things I'm seeing in the trailer, you know, that first episode is capital R for Rake. And I hope that even though I don't like the storyline with the opera singer that happened in the first one, just for book reasons, for me, I didn't love it. I loved the actress, didn't like the character she was playing or any of that. But I'm hoping that what he went through with her will lead him to that kind of like duty-bound place, where he's now not expecting anything, and therefore there can be that turn. And then the other thing that I really want to see, and this one might be very hard, but I think it could be very beautiful and emotional, and that is flashbacks to when Anthony found out that Edmund died. And that was a very like emotional scene in the book. You know, Anthony finds out that his father died of a bee sting, you know, what we would call now anaphylactic shock. And he'd seen his father be stung by bees before, but being allergic to bees is something that can grow over time. You aren't necessarily like as allergic to it as you're ever going to be. And we didn't have EpiPens back then. And so for him to see his father, who he considered to be such a better man than him, to die of a bee sting, he just can't imagine ever outliving his father, because he's like, I'm never going to be as great of a man as my dad is. And anyway, I know we will see some flashbacks, because I believe in the trailer we see like young Anthony and Edmund, but I would really love to see Anthony finding out, because I believe they could still do that with Jonathan Bailey. They would just put him in some clothes, make him look 10 years younger, and, you know, have that interaction, you know, and in the book, it's actually like, I think Eloise who tells him, or maybe it's Francesca. I'm not sure. No, I think it's Eloise. Or is it even Daphne? I don't know. But one of his sisters is the one who says that the dad is dead, and Violet was pregnant with Hyacinth at the time. So there was just so much going on, and I feel like seeing that flashback will really set up the mindset well for Anthony. So that's my hope. So anyway, there we go. Those are my hopes and dreams for the season 2 of Bridgerton. I am keeping myself healthily speculative about it. I'm skeptical about it, because again, this is one of my favorite books. Either way, this book series is one of my favorite book series of all time. I've said it 100 times. Julia Quinn, I'm an OG lover of hers. For half of my life I've been reading her books. So yeah, I have very high expectations, and so I am a bit critical, as it were, of the show. But that doesn't mean when I'm watching it that I don't just have a great old time, and that's really what it's about. It's only when like I do my breakdowns that I want to be very honest about what's in the books and what's in the show, and talk about kind of why they did those things. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel, because like I said, those breakdowns, I will get them done and up as soon as I can. Either I will put like one out a day for like a whole 8 days, or I'll put up like 2 or 3 at a time. I don't know. Last year it was just a big like Mod Podge of getting them out as fast as I could, and it was fantastic. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you are subscribed to my channel, I do recommendations for all kinds of romance, and yeah, that's what I do here at the Book Refuge. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.